Hi, I'm Ahmad Amin, and my CS 477 final course project is called Quotify, which is a text recognition and quote storage app for Android devices. The inspiration for this app came from a newfound hobby I picked up when the pandemic first began, which was reading. To that end, to achieve some of the frustrations I faced with housekeeping my favorite quotes, this proposed app was implemented keeping a few objectives in mind. 1. To allow users to take photos of quotes and use a text recognition tool to store the quotes in a database. 2. To allow users to review all quotes, as well as allowing users to query the quotes by titles and authors. 3. To allow users to easily view a random quote. And 4. To allow users to share quotes with other apps. This app in particular relies primarily on a single activity with the usage of a bottom screen navigation bar, coupled with various fragments to handle the different tasks which are encompassing of the outlined objectives. As for the unique components of this app, there were many new components learned outside of the classroom environment. This included integrating image data with various APIs like Firebase's text recognition tool, or using other APIs for UI purposes such as the swipe menu list view. The specific Firebase API that was used was the Machine Learning Vision API, which relies on Google's optical character recognition capabilities to sense characters in image photos and convert that to text. Nonetheless, there were many other components, including sharing quotes to external apps, using Google's built-in text-to-speech tool, and more. Now for the demo of the app. Beginning with the nav bar, we can easily navigate between various fragments and tasks. Going back to the daily quotes page, this would ideally update every day, but for testing purposes, it currently changes with every click on the nav bar. Next, with the Quotes tab, we see all the quotes currently in our database. By tapping the quote, we get a toast with author and source title info, as well as the opportunity to hear the quote.
For those who suffered, for what they endured and what he might bring to bear.
By swiping left, we can either delete the quote or share the quote with various different external apps like Gmail, or even copying and pasting the quote. Then, moving on to the Books tab, we can see all the unique books. We can tap the book to see the source-specific quotes. In short, this page has the same functionality as the general quotes page, but if we want to delete all quotes, it takes us back. Otherwise, we can use the back button to go back. Finally, we can delete all the quotes from a specific book, and when doing so, there's an alert dialog to confirm the user's intentions. With that said, the Authors tab behaves very similarly to the Books tab, except that it varies in the sense that it queries our database based on the authors instead. Finally, the heart of the app that integrates text recognition and actually allows users to store quotes is launched through the plus icon on the nav bar. In order to add a new quote, it is mandatory for the user to fill in all the fields. With the author and title fields, they also auto-suggest inputs based on queries from the database. Finally, after tapping the photo icon, we can take a live photo. We can then crop the photo and edit the quote where necessary. Also, if we wish, we can upload a photo with text. That said, when we are done, we can save the quote by submitting it. Finally, no duplicate quotes are allowed. In this first example, I'm taking a live photo of a quote from the book Sapiens by Yuval Harari. After cropping the photo and changing it to my adjustments that I want to, I then add the title and author information and then submit it to my database for submission. In this next yet brief example, I am demonstrating that duplicate quotes are not allowed. This check is enforced by comparing the newly scanned quote directly with the quotes in the database. In this next example, instead of using the camera directly for scanning a quote, I pull up a screenshot and crop it to my liking, and after uploading it, I re-demonstrate that even though I've uploaded the quote, I still need a title and author field before submitting to the database. In this final example, we see that you can even use the Firebase text recognition technique even when scanning quotes from an electronic device like a Kindle. Next, I'll provide a sample walkthrough of the code. Beginning with the app's build.gradle file, this is where I add the implementation dependencies for external APIs used, such as the Firebase toolkit. Looking briefly at the new quote fragment, which is the one that allows users to take photos of their quotes, I began by initializing my views and enabling autocomplete suggestions for the edit text fields of the title and author fields. For the camera button, I launch a crop image activity, which is a one-stop-shop API for accessing photos or taking new ones and then cropping them. Next, I do some sanity checks before allowing the user to add their quote to the database. And finally, I make use of the crop image activity's resulting URI, converting it to a bitmap and passing it over to Firebase's text recognizer. Nonetheless, there are some obvious shortcomings of the app, including the ability to use text recognition on any text. As for difficulties, the primary one included integrating Firebase through the app's build Gradle. That said, there were many learning lessons such as working with APIs, navbars, and fragments. Finally, as a future recommendation, it would be interesting to use a machine learning classifier to classify the genre of the quote. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the app.